Just a regular handgun. No showing off, just showing up and getting the job done.
All right, y'all, welcome back to Combat Arms channel. Okay, so today we are checking out another very cool video from the YouTube channel Ahoy. Of course, I will put the original video in the description so you guys can check out the original channel. But this one is really cool. This is about the Beretta 92. So we've checked out the M16, we've checked out the Uzi, we've checked out the P90. So now we're doing the Beretta 92. And of course, if you guys don't know, if I haven't said it enough somehow, I am a huge fan of the Beretta. So here are a couple of my Berettas. So I have several Berettas and they're pretty much all from the 92 series, which is what we're checking out today. So if you guys don't know, the 92, I mean, the video will kind of go in depth, but the 92 is what the US military used for the longest time. I think since like the 80s, even until current day, but that was designated the M9. I'll just shut up. We'll get into this video. Should be really exciting. I love this pistol so much. So let's check out this video.
Pistols do not win wars, but they save the lives of the men who do.
I love it already.
A handgun cannot match the accuracy or range of a rifle, but can prove a valuable substitute in the absence of one.
True.
The Beretta 92, also known as the M9, is a definitive 9mm pistol, both in service and on the silver screen.
Oh yeah,
so
that's
how did
true.
an Italian pistol end up replacing an American?
Yeah, so again, another reason why I love these videos is, I mean, of course, it's cool gameplay footage, but at the same time, it gets you thinking about stuff that you wouldn't have considered otherwise. You get to learn the history, and you get to consider it in certain contexts. So for me, I would attribute it to the military, but of course, it's pretty popular in a lot of movies and television shows. So it's awesome how these videos go over all of that.
Classic. Why is it a staple weapon in action films? And which is better, 9mm or 45 ACP?
9mm, come on.
Founded in 1526, Italian Co. Beretta is the oldest active firearms manufacturer in the world.
Yes, they are.
Gunsmith Maestro Bartolomeo Beretta made his name producing arquebus barrels for the Arsenal of Venice.
It's a mouthful.
And the company still exists today in a similar line of business. They were tasked with supplying the Italian army with weapons during both world wars, but perhaps their best known product today is a semi-automatic pistol design, first devised in 1975.
Yeah, that's kind of true. I never considered what other firearms Beretta has manufactured. There's a lot of gun manufacturers that have a history of making weapons from like World War II and on. But again, the Beretta is so old, so it's kind of cool to see where all their weapons sort of show up.
The Beretta 92 was a development of earlier Beretta pistols, such as the M1922 and M1951. With the latter lending much to the 92's exterior styling, and the German Walther P38 providing the locking system for the barrel.
Another icon.
In the middle of the 20th century, most American police forces were reliant on classic revolvers, chambered in .38 Special or the more powerful .357 Magnum. While familiar and reliable in action, their major limiting factor was capacity, with most revolvers carrying just 6 rounds, with a relatively slow reload to boot.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
In the wake of arms development during World War II, many European forces were switching to 9mm semi-automatic weapons, with their double-stack magazines giving them a large capacity advantage over older designs.
Yeah, and that's honestly why I'm a huge fan of 9mm handguns. Of course, there's a big debate between 9mm and like other calibers like 45, but I mean, the capacity alone is awesome. You can carry way more ammo for the weights, and I mean, it's a pistol. You're not going to be using it for so much, and the stopping power is pretty good with a 9mm. So it's kind of cool that it started all the way back in World War II, because again, you'll see all this stuff sort of get developed out of necessity because people want to like be able to carry the most and also be somewhat effective.
Earlier pistols such as the Browning High Power and Walther P38 proved their worth and would pave the way for a new wave of modern, high-capacity semi-automatic pistols, such as the CZ75, 6-hour P226, Glock 17, and of course, the Beretta 92.
The sexiest of all of them.
These new service weapons were dubbed Wonder Nines, with a hint of sarcasm from those who preferred the more proven revolvers. But eventually, the advantages of these new pistols started to erode any resistance.
I've not heard that nickname.
The original Beretta 92 design intended for the Italian army and police, saw relatively limited production. It was later variants that would prove more popular. The 92S added a slide-mounted safety in accordance with some law enforcement's requirements.
And the military
the 92F and the later 92FS added further improvements, which would eventually lead to its adoption by the US Army.
Yep.
The US Armed Forces had long been aware of the advantages of a semi-automatic sidearm. After all, the venerable M1911 pistol had been in service since 1911.
That thing is a dinosaur,
Although
though.
the classic Browning design was much loved. By 1980, the design was starting to show its age.
Yes.
US sought a replacement. One of the
Well
driving
said.
forces behind the change was the NATO Standardization Agreement. In order to simplify supply logistics, NATO forces would use these same calibers.
Yep.
And since 1962, 9x19mm Luger rounds had been elected as the pistol caliber of choice. A controversial point even today. The 9mm versus 45 caliber debate is a particularly divisive one. 45 ACP offers greater punch, but 9mm rounds are smaller, offering greater capacity, and have both lower recoil and higher velocity.
To be honest, the debate isn't that serious because, again, when you're talking about 45, a lot of people they're defending it mainly for the 1911 pistol. And again, that thing is definitely showing its age, like they were saying in this video. So if you shot a bunch of different pistols, you'll sort of be able to tell how nice it is to go from a 45 to a 9mm because they're way smoother to shoot. You can get those follow-on shots a lot quicker. And again, you can carry a lot more. So it's pretty nice to have a 9mm over a 45.
While some lament the loss in stopping power, modern 9mm loads proved more than adequate for most needs. And in 1985, the Beretta 92F edged out the more expensive SIG P226 to be adopted as the US Army service pistol under the M9 designation.
Good. Not a fan of
Reliable
SIGs.
with its all-steel construction, able to weather battle conditions, and with generous magazine capacity, the Beretta is a thoroughbred workhorse. Its selection by the US Army has led to its inevitable inclusion in a whole host of modern military games. Often a default sidearm, it is a ubiquitous ally to the American M4.
Yes, sir.
It's the go-to choice for those looking to play soldier, although in reality pistols are only issued to select roles. Rear echelon troops, drivers, officers, etc.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you think about it.
In games, pistols fill a curious niche. They are often intentionally weaker than most other weapons, with limited range and semi-automatic fire. In Counter-Strike, pistols are the cheapest option, and such weapons determine the outcome of the first round.
So I gotta say, if you've ever tried dual-wielding pistols in real life, you'll realize it's not a very good idea. So it's kind of funny when you see it in games, but again, it's funny how he's talking about this. A lot of games will make pistols really, really weak and ineffective because, again, it's like a sidearm, they're trying to balance the game. But then you have people trying to do these dual-wielding or these akimbo pistols to try and, you know, be on a level playing field with other firearms. So it's funny to see for me.
But once the money rolls in, they're quickly ditched for automatic weapons. The one place they do excel is in reactivity. Fast switching and quick on target. True to reality, the true strength of a pistol is as a backup to your primary weapon.
Yes.
They are ignored by most in favor of their rifle, or even replaced with an enemy weapon. But for those with the reflexes to use it, a trusty sidearm is valuable.
No doubt
Almost
about
every
that.
Call of Duty, the tutorial slips in the old adage. Switch into your pistol is always faster than reloading.
Yes, not gonna lie, he had a really good voice for that. It really sounded like exactly how you'd hear it from Call of Duty 4. So if you guys don't know, I did a video, sort of, I mean, I guess it's kind of like a Mythbusters scientific video, but I did like a video where I was actually transitioning to my pistol to see if it was actually faster than reloading. And yeah, about 95% of the time, it's definitely going to be faster. So I always try and have a pistol on me if I can because it's just nice. It's nice to have it as a backup, especially if you get some crazy malfunction with your rifle, which you shouldn't be, but things happen.
The Beretta is a large weapon as far as handguns go, and as a result, it has quite a formidable on-screen presence.
Like
Much
the
of the
Desert
weapon's
Eagle.
popularity can be attributed to Hong Kong film director John Woo.
Huh.
He was a fan of the pistol's stout size and near bottomless magazine, and gave it prime placement in many films, often wielded as a pair.
Of course.
It's the protagonist's weapon of choice in A Better Tomorrow, and the same goes for Inspector Tequila in Hard Boiled.
Nice.
These seminal action flicks have had considerable influence, and this heroic bloodshed has seeped into games inspired by cinema. It's certainly no coincidence that the Berettas come in pairs in Counter-Strike, but it's the Max Payne series that is perhaps the most explicit of examples, with Max imitating classic Woo gunfighting action with dual Berettas in all 3 installments.
Yeah, I remember
Of course,
that
the
now.
most direct link is in John Woo's own game, Stranglehold, where Tequila reprises his role from Hard Boiled with a pair of the iconic pistols.
It's just a good-looking
A
pistol.
far cry from its military service, it seems the Beretta has a darker side.
Ooh.
2 guns, infinite ammo, and paired with a thirst for vengeance.
Oh, okay. Spicy.
So the Beretta is a weapon with a distinct yet subdued charm. It makes a bold statement, but is never brash.
Well said.
Its legacy might never live up to the M1911, but while it's cut for a different caliber, it shares many of the values of the classic Browning design. Just a regular handgun. No showing off, just showing up. Getting the job done.
Yes. Nice. I love
The
how he
Beretta
said that.
92. Classic 1-9. Reliable. And always on your side.
Literally.
Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, farewell.
Man. These videos never freaking disappoint, dude. I gotta say. The quality is just so good. You guys really need to go and check out the channel. Definitely go drop a subscribe. And, of course, if you guys haven't subscribed to this channel, you can subscribe to this channel as well. I'd appreciate it. But, again, you guys don't understand how much I love the Beretta. I mean, it was the first real pistol that I shot, so maybe that has something to do with it, you know, being the first. But I gotta say, it's just, I've always thought that it looked cool. You know, I've had like airsoft versions of it before I actually joined the military, but it just looks so sick, especially when you like lock the slide back and whatnot. It just looks very different from any other pistol. Just like, it kind of like has like that Desert Eagle look to it as far as like just being really unique and just looking really cool once it actually fires. So I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but I love the Beretta. A lot of people in the U.S. military hate the Beretta because they say it's too big, it's too heavy, they're not good with it. But I mean, to be fair, a lot of the Berettas are pretty old, like actually from the 80s and 90s. So they're pretty well loved. But to be fair, I can take a Beretta from like 1990 or one that was manufactured yesterday and just slap steel all day because they're just so accurate. They're such smooth shooters, especially one that's broken in. So I gotta say, regardless of the time frame, I have always loved the Beretta, and I will probably continue loving Berettas as they continue to make them, and as Beretta comes up on its 500th year of making firearms. So, I mean, with a lineage like that, it's kind of hard to say that their weapons aren't really built for their purpose. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I'm kind of just nerding out over firearms, as you can kind of see with these videos. I love checking them out. I love checking out the footage, and I love learning about the history of this stuff. I knew some of it, but again, some of that, the more like niche stuff as far as like TV and television, and sort of seeing how it plays a role coming into stuff like that is really cool to see from these videos. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any other recommendations, you can throw that down below as well. But that is it for this video. I will see you on the next one.